It's payback time, everybody. That wonderful moment in the motoring calendar when you, the general public, get the chance to make the entire UK motor industry reach for the Valium. Gentlemen, it's time. Your day of reckoning, when your judge and jury will be your customers. Enjoy the show.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for. Top Gear and JD Power present the Ultimate Car Satisfaction Survey. And here's your host, Miss Julia Bradbury.
Good evening. I'd like to start by welcoming our studio audience, which includes representatives of the motor industry. Thank you. And members of the motoring public. And we have good news. The pressure we're putting on the car makers is paying off. Overall build quality is improving. However, motor moguls shouldn't get too comfortable because you've still got a long, long way to go. And so on to tonight's first category, the cars that gave you the most aggravation and the least satisfaction. In other words, the dogs and donkeys of the bottom 10.
Now, those of you who remember last year's survey will recall that the circus freak was the Vauxhall Vectra, coming absolutely bottom of everything. Well, this year, the boys and girls at Vauxhall have really pulled all the stops out. No more humiliation and embarrassment for them. Oh, no. Because this year, the Vectra has come third from bottom. Well done, everybody.
But it's not all bad news for Vauxhall. They're not the lamest ducks in this year's bottom 10. 4 out of those 10 slots are occupied by another outfit who, by now, really ought to know better. So here they are then, out of 114 models, this year's bottom 10. The Peugeot 306 falls 30 places to 10th from mediocrity. You didn't like the shiversome dealer charges or the careless customer care. 9th from bottom is the Fiat Bravo. Looks good, but lasts badly. Next rung down comes Alfa's 146. You like driving it when it's not in the garage with its wheels in the air. 7th from Booby Prize is Vauxhall's Omega. Horrid to drive and hopeless dealers. At 109, 6th from bottom languishes the Fiat Ulysses, the van that can't. And Rover's Mini is still beset by interior and body problems. 4th from ignominy are the Alfa Spider and GTV, sharing 111th place. And the motoring equivalent of a Veruca, the Vauxhall Vectra, 3 from bottom. But runner-up for the wooden spoon is the Volkswagen Charan. And completely dead in the water, the Ford Galaxy, this year's official four-wheeled fright.
You didn't have a kind word to say for it. It is as reliable as a Virgin train, as much fun as a Saturday night in Casualty, drinks like Oliver Reed, and when it comes to Ford dealers, you reckon the charm school must have closed before they could finish the course. It is, you insist, a dire device. And with no less than 3 people carriers in the bottom 10, we've decided on Top Gear next week to investigate why this once darling of the chattering classes has fallen from grace. But I digress. Because
it's time for some cars that you actually like. Such as the Land Rover. Both the Discovery and the Range Rover have clambered their way out of the doldrums to claim slots in the 70s. You say the Solihull factory is getting better. Maybe respectability beckons. Top of your Fords comes the little Ka in at number 56. Despite the Galaxy's shambolic performance, Ford are now opening up a lead on arch-rival Vauxhall. And BMW's Shishi Z3 is in at number 16, let down by its wheezy 1.9 engine. You thought Chrysler's Neon a trifle dull, but got on splendidly with its dealers, giving it 28th place. But those are the ones that can cut it. Here are 5 that can't.
Rover, the company that everybody's talking about at the moment, may have improved their overall score, but they've got a problem child, the MGF, which has fallen a massive 25 places. In fact, it has so many leaks, squeaks, rattles, bangs and clonks that it spent more time off the road than any other car in the entire survey. And that's why the BMW Z3 and the Mazda MX-5 are leaving its standing.
You're driving me crazy. Well, I ordered an MGF and I had to wait 6 months. But I was prepared to do that on the basis that I was going to get a car that was great fun and good to drive. But within a week of getting it, the clutch had gone and it needed a whole new clutch assembly. After that, the soft top wouldn't close properly. The hard top rubbed off a lot of the paintwork and water leaked all over the seats. Then things just went from bad to worse. It got silly. In the 2 years I had it, that's the service history. The clutch went again. The hard top continued to misfit. The starter motor went, left me stranded for several hours. The water leak continued. Problem after problem after problem. In 2 years, it went back 15 times. And that is why I drive a BMW.
And to everybody's amazement, both the Mercedes E and C-Class scored nil point for performance, not to mention dealer charges that verge on the vicious.
One of the biggest surprises in this year's survey is Daewoo. They are down. And it's not, you say, because of problems with the Nexia and the Espero. Broadly speaking, you're quite happy with them. It's a servicing and support issue. And in a way, Daewoo are victims of their own success because at the moment, they can't cope. So when they raise your expectations to such a high degree and promise the world, then don't deliver, you understandably start shouting.
I bought a Daewoo in the first place because as a disabled person, I need to be fully mobile, and they promised me that if ever it was off the road, I could have a car with hand controls as a courtesy car. And every time it's been off, with the exception of the first time, they've not managed to provide me with a car with hand controls. Service overall, I think, is quite poor. You never know whether Halford's going to fix it or Daewoo are going to fix it, and the impression that they give is that they just don't care.
But one manufacturer who does care is Jaguar, and a couple of their big cats have scored a roaring success.
The XK8 has come in at number 10, but the XJ Saloon comes in at a magnificent number 3. You love the looks, the performance, the handling, the build quality, and even the dealers. But most important of all, owning your Jags makes you proud to be British. So it's congratulations to Coventry.
And from the sublime to what some would say is the ridiculous, but they'd be wrong. Skoda's Felicia bags 5th place in this year's survey. Looks, it would seem, aren't everything, and definitely not when you see what's come in just above it.
The Toyota Starlet, which came in at 4th place. And it was lady drivers who were most taken with the Starlet. They didn't seem at all bothered by its willfully dull styling. What they were most interested in was the fact that of all the cars in the entire survey, this one spends the least time off the road being repaired. And the old Skoda isn't far behind either. Very good. This is what we want. This is what we like. Thank you so much. Some manufacturers may feel this year's survey is a bit of a roller coaster, but for others, things never seem to change. Bye-bye. You say the Japanese still make the most reliable cars, which is why they bagged 6 out of the top slots this year. So here it is then, the Top Gear JD Power Top 10.
And yes, my eyes were closed. At number 10, it's that blithe spirit, the Jaguar XK8. You love it. It's a remarkable machine. At 9th comes the Honda Prelude. It may like a little drink, but you don't seem to mind at all. The Saab 9000 rockets up to number 8. You like the car and you'd like to marry the dealers. Number 7 is the Toyota Picnic, a typically blameless Toyota, as is their Celica, this year's top-rated coupe at number 6. Next up, that worthy little Skoda, the Felicia. Beaten by the car with the charisma bypass, the Toyota Starlet at number 4. And 3rd place bronze medal goes to Jaguar's excellent XJ Saloon. 2nd place silver, the Subaru Legacy. Great dealers, great performance, great car. Your love is almost unconditional.
So, which is the fairest of them all? Well, we shall keep you in suspense for just a few more moments. First, let's chat to a couple of people who own this car, and let's see if you can guess what it is. Roger, why do you love your car so much?
Well, it's fast, it's utterly reliable, the dealers are great, and it is quite simply the most complete car that I've ever owned.
And Pam, for you?
It's fun, it's fast, it's flexible, it's very safe, it's got me out of trouble, and it's fantastic value for money.
Both of you, thank you very much. Well, last year you'll remember that the winner of the Top Gear JD Power Car Satisfaction Survey was the Subaru Impreza. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to announce that this year's winner is the Subaru Impreza. And my personal James Bond, Mr. Quentin Wilson, who I hasten to add is not an optional extra.
According to you, this is the UK's most satisfying car, and with the exception of a slightly highish petrol consumption, you simply could not fault it. So well done again to Subaru. But before we go, one final thought. The more we do this, the more noise we make, the better our cars will be, which means that one day we'll all get the build quality, the service and the after sales that we really, really deserve.